So, this is our statement. You'll obviously be doing your own. At 5:30 p.m. on the 3rd of November, in Escalating Dunham Gardens, following a verbal altercation, Ferdinand Ray, 11, armed with a stick, struck our son, Bruno Vallon, in the face. This action resulted in not only the swelling of the upper lip, but also the breaking of 2 incisors, including injury to the nerve of the right incisor.
Armed?
Armed. Oh, you don't like armed? Oh, what shall we say then, Michelle? Furnished, equipped, furnished with a stick. Is that right?
Yes.
Furnished with a stick, yes.
Furnished. The irony is we've always regarded Escalating Dunham Gardens as a haven of security, unlike Montserrat Park.
She's right. We've always said Montserrat Park, no. Escalating Dunham Gardens, yes.
Absolutely. Anyway, thank you so much for coming. I don't think there's anything to be gained by getting stuck down some emotional cul-de-sac.
Oh, we should be thanking you. We should.
Oh, no, really, no thanks are required. Fortunately, there is still such a thing as the art of coexistence, is there not?
Which the children don't appear to have mastered, at least not ours.
No, not ours. And so, what's going to happen to the tooth with the affected nerve?
Oh, well, we don't really know yet. They're being rather cautious about the prognosis. Apparently, the nerve hasn't been totally exposed.
Only a bit of it's been exposed.
Yes, only some of it's been exposed, and some of it's still covered.
They're trying to give the tooth a chance.
Yes, it's best to avoid endodontic surgery.
Oh, of course.
So there'll be an interim period whilst they give the nerve a chance to recover.
And in the meantime, they'll be giving him ceramic crowns.
Whatever happens, you can't have implants until you're 18.
No.
Permanent implants can't be fitted until you finish growing.
Of course. Well, I hope, I do hope it all works out.
Well, yes, let's hope so.
Those flowers are gorgeous.
Oh, yes, aren't they? They're from that little florist in the Mouton d'Auvergne market. You know, the one right at the top?
Yes.
Yes, they come in direct from Holland every day. €10 for a bunch of 50.
Really?
Yes, you know the one right at the top?
Yes.
You know, he didn't want to identify Ferdinand.
No, he didn't.
Impressive sight, that child, face bashed in, teeth missing, still refusing to talk.
I can imagine.
You know, he also didn't want to identify him for fear of looking like a sneak in front of his friends. We have to be honest about it, Veronique. It was nothing more than bravado.
Well, yes, but bravado is a kind of courage, isn't it?
Yes. So, how did you find out Ferdinand's name?
Oh, well, we just said to him he wasn't doing anything to protect this child by shielding him.
We said to him, if this child thinks he can go on hitting people with impunity, then why should he stop?
We said to him if we were this child's parents, we would definitely want to be told.
Absolutely.
Yes. Excuse me. Yes, Maurice, thanks for calling me back. In today's Le Monde, let me read it to you. According to a paper published in the Lancet and taken up yesterday by the Financial Times, 2 Australian researchers have revealed the neurological side effects of Antril, a hypertensive beta blocker manufactured at the Varennes Pharma Laboratories. Blah, 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 blah. These side effects range from hearing loss to ataxia. So who the hell's your media watchdog? Yes, it's very bloody inconvenient. No, what's most inconvenient about, as far as I'm concerned, is the AGM's in 2 weeks. Have you got an insurance contingency to cover litigation? All right. Okay. Oh, and Maurice, ask your DOC to find out if this story shows up anywhere else. Call me back. Excuse me.
So, you're
A lawyer.
What about you?
I have a wholesale company, domestic hardware. And Veronique is a writer and works part-time in an art history bookshop.
A writer?
Well, I contributed to a collection on the civilization of Sheba, based on the excavations that were restarted after the end of the Ethiopian-Eritrean War. And in January, I have a book coming out on the Darfur tragedy.
So you specialise in Africa?
Well, I'm very interested in that part of the world, yeah.
Do you have any other children?
Yes. Bruno has a 9-year-old sister, Camille, who's furious with her father right now because last night her father got rid of the hamster.
You got rid of the hamster?
Yes. Oh, that hamster made the most appalling racket all night. Then spent the whole day fast asleep. Bruno was in a very bad way. He was driven crazy by the noise that hamster made. But as for myself, to tell you the truth, I've been wanting to get rid of it for ages. So I said to myself, right, that is it. I took it and I put it in the street. They love drains and gutters and so on, but not a bit of it. Just sat there paralysed on the pavement. Well, they're not domestic animals. They're not wild animals. I don't know where their natural habitat is. If you dump them in the woods, they'd probably be just as unhappy. I don't know where you're meant to put them.
You left it outside?
Just left it. Tried to convince Camille it'd run away. She wasn't having any of it.
And had the hamster vanished this morning?
Vanished, yes.
So you, what field are you in?
Oh, I'm in wealth management.
Oh, I don't suppose it would be possible, and forgive the bluntness of the question, but would Ferdinand apologise to Bruno?
It'd be good if they talked.
Oh, well, he has to apologise, Alain. He has to tell him he's sorry.
Yes, of course.
Well, is he sorry?
Well, he realises what he's done. He just doesn't understand the implications. He's 11.
Well, if you're 11, you're not a baby anymore.
Well, you're not an adult either. We haven't offered you anything. Coffee, tea? Is there any of that clafoutis left, Ronnie?
Yes.
It is extraordinary clafoutis.
Wouldn't mind an espresso.
Just some water.
Espresso. An espresso for me too, darling. Bring the clafoutis anyway. You know, I've always said we're like a lump of potter's clay. It's up to us to fashion something out of it. Perhaps it won't take shape till the very end. Who knows? You know, you have to try the clafoutis. Good clafoutis is an endangered species.
You're right.
What is it you sell?
Domestic hardware, you know, household goods, soldering irons, doorknobs, locks, all sorts of household goods, saucepans, frying pans.
Money
mostly-
in that, is there?
Well, it's never exactly been a bonanza. It was pretty hard when we started, but, you know, provided I'm out there every day, pushing my product, it rubs along. You see, at least it's not seasonal, like textiles. Although, we do sell a lot of foie gras pots in the run-up to Christmas.
I'm sure.
When you saw the hamster sitting there, paralysed, why didn't you bring it back home?
I couldn't pick it up.
You put it on the pavement.
I took it out in its cage. I just sort of tipped it out. I just can't touch rodents.
I don't know who put the clafoutis in the fridge.
No.
Monica puts everything in the fridge, she won't be told. So, what has Ferdinand actually said about it? Oh, sugar?
No thanks. What's in the clafoutis?
Oh, apples and pears.
Apples and pears.
Yes, it's my own little recipe. It's a shame, though, it's going to be cold.
Apples and pears, this is a first.
Oh, apples and pears is fairly textbook, actually, but there is a trick to it.
There is.
Yes. You have to cut the pears thicker than the apples because pears cook faster than apples.
Oh, of course.
I mean, she's not telling you the real secret.
Oh, let them try it.
That's very good. Very good.
Tasty.
Ah, gingerbread crumbs.
Brilliant.
Yes. Oh, it's a version of the way they make clafoutis and Picardy. To be honest, I got the recipe from his mother.
Well, at least all this has given us a new recipe.
I'd have preferred if it hadn't cost my son 2 teeth.
Yes, of course, that's what I meant.
Strange way of expressing it.
Not at all, I have to take this. Yes, Maurice. No, don't demand a right of reply. You'll only feed the controversy. Are you insured? What are these symptoms? What is ataxia? What about a standard dose? How long have you known about this? All that time and you never recalled it? What's the turnover? Ah, okay, I see. Right.
Alain, Do you mind joining us?
Yes, I'm coming. Hey, Serge, I've known about the after effects for 2 years. Yeah, an internal report, but it didn't highlight any undesirable side effects. No, they took no precautions, they didn't insure, not a word about it in the annual accounts. Impaired motor skills, stability problems, in short, you look permanently pissed. Turnover $150 million. Yeah. Bankrupt in oil. Yeah, idiot wanted to ask for a right of reply. We certainly don't want a right of reply. On the other hand, if the story spreads, we could put out a press release, say it's disinformation put about 2 weeks before the AGM. Yeah. He's calling me back. Okay. Actually, I hardly had any lunch.
Oh, help yourself.
Thanks. So, what were we saying?
We were saying that it would have been nicer to meet under different circumstances.
Yes, of course. So, the clafouti, it's, your mother's.
The recipe's my mother's, but Ronnie made this one.
Mother doesn't mix apples and pears.
No.
Poor thing has to have an operation.
Oh, really? What for?
Oh, her knee.
We're going to insert a rotatable prosthesis made of metal and polyethylene. She's wondering what's going to be left of it when she's cremated.
Don't be horrible, darling.
You know, she refuses to be buried next to my father. She wants to be cremated, and then put next to her mother, who was all on her own down south. 2 urns facing out to sea, trying to get a word in edgeways.
We're very touched by your generosity. We appreciate the fact that you're trying to calm things down rather than exacerbate them.
Oh, frankly, it's the least we could do.
Yes.
Not at all. I mean, how many parents, when standing up for their children, become infantile themselves? If Bruno had broken 2 of Ferdinand's teeth, I'm afraid Anna and I might have been a good deal more thin-skinned about it. I'm not certain we'd have been so broad-minded.
Oh, of course you would. No, she's right. By no means certain.
Yes, because we all know very well it might easily have been the other way round.
So what has Ferdinand actually said about it? How does he view the situation?
He's not saying very much. I think he's still slightly in shock.
Oh, but he understands that he's disfigured his playmate.
No, he does not understand he's disfigured his playmate.
Why are you saying that? He understands perfectly well.
He understands he's behaved like a thug. He does not understand he's disfigured his playmate.
You may not care for the word, but the word is unfortunately accurate.
My son has not disfigured your son.
Your son has disfigured my son. Why don't you come back at 5 o'clock and take a look at his mouth and teeth?
Temporarily disfigured.
The swelling on his lip will go down, and as for his teeth, send him to the best dentist. I'm prepared to...
No, the insurance will cover that. What we would like is for the boys to make up so that this sort of thing never happens again.
Well, let's arrange a meeting.
Yes, that is the answer, isn't
Well,
it?
should we be there?
They don't need to be coached. Just let them do it man to man.
Man to man. Ah, don't be ridiculous. Having said that, we don't necessarily have to be there, do we? I mean, might be better if we weren't, wouldn't it?
Well, I think the question is probably not whether we should be there or not. The question is, do they want to see one another? Do they want a reckoning?
Bruno wants to.
What about Ferdinand?
Well, it's no use asking his opinion.
But it ought to come from him.
Ferdinand has behaved like a hooligan. We're not interested in what he's thinking.
All the same, if Ferdinand is forced to meet Bruno in a punitive context, I really can't see the results being very positive.
Madame, our son is a savage. To hope for any kind of spontaneous repentance is fanciful. Right, I've got to get back to the office. You stay in there. You'll tell me what you've decided. I'm no use whichever way you cut it. Women always think you need a man, you need a father, as if they'd be of the slightest use. Men are dead weight. They're clumsy and maladjusted. Oh, look! You can see a stretch of the overground metro. That's lovely.
I'm really embarrassed, but I can't stay either. I'm afraid my husband has never exactly been a pushchair father.
Oh, well, that's a shame. It's lovely taking the children for a walk. You used to love looking after the children, didn't you, Michelle? You loved pushing the pushchair.
Yes, I did.
So, what have we decided?
Could you bring Bruno by the house at 7:30 this evening?
7:30. What do you think, Michelle?
Well, if I may, I do.
Go on.
I rather think Ferdinand ought to come here.
Oh, yes, I agree.
I don't think it's for the victim to go traipsing about, you know.
Well, personally, I can't be anywhere at 7:30.
Well, since you're no use, we won't be needing you.
All the same, I really think his father ought to be here.
Well, all right. Well, then it can't be this evening.
Excuse me.
Yes? There's no mention of this in the executive report, and no risks have been formally established. There's no evidence.
Tomorrow?
I'm in The Hague tomorrow.
Oh, you're working in The Hague?
Yeah, I've got a case in the International Criminal Court.
Oh, the important thing is that the children speak to one another. I'll bring Ferdinand here at 7:30 this evening and we can leave them to have their reckoning. No? You don't look very convinced.
I just think that if Ferdinand is not made aware of his responsibilities, I think they'll just stare at each other like a couple of China dogs. It'll be a disaster.
What do you mean, madame? Made aware of his responsibilities?
I'm sure your son is not a savage.
Of course Ferdinand isn't a savage.
Yes, he is.
Why are you playing?
He's a savage.
How does he explain his behaviour?
He doesn't want to discuss it.
But he ought to discuss it.
He ought to do any number of things, madame. He ought to come here, he ought to discuss it, he ought to be sorry for it. Clearly, you have parenting skills that put us to shame. We hope to improve, but in the meantime, please bear with us.
No, this is idiotic. Don't say that like this.
I'm only thinking of him. I'm only thinking of Ferdinand.
Yeah, I got the message.
Let's just sit down for another couple of minutes.
Yeah. Another drop of coffee, perhaps.
A coffee, okay.
Then I'll have one too. Thank you.
It's all right, Ronnie, I'll do it. You... Two.
I see you're a great art lover.
Well, art, photographs, to some extent, it's my job.
I adore bacon.
Oh, yes, bacon.
Cruelty, majesty.
Chaos and balance.
Yes.
Yes. Is Ferdinand interested in art?
Not as much as he should be. What about your children?
Well, we try. We try and fill the gaps in the educational system.
Yes.
Try to make them read and take them to concerts and exhibitions. We're eccentric enough to believe in the pacifying abilities of culture.
And you're right.
Clafouti. Is it a tart or a cake? A serious question. You know, I was just in the kitchen thinking, Linzer tart, for example. Now, is that a tart? Oh, come. You can't leave that one little slice.
Clafouti is a cake. The pastry's not rolled out, it's mixed in with fruit.
You really are a cook.
Well, I love it. I do love cooking. And you do have to love it. Now, in my view, the classic tart, that is to say with a pastry base, is the only one that deserves to be called a tart.
What about you? I mean, do you have other children at all?
Son by my first marriage.
Son. You know, I was wondering, not that it's at all important, but what started the quarrel? Bruno won't say a blind word about it.
Bruno refused to let Ferdinand join his gang.
Bruno has a gang.
He also called Ferdinand a grass.
Did you know Bruno had a gang?
No. Fantastic.
Why is it fantastic?
Because I had my own gang.
Me too.
Oh, what does this entail exactly?
5 or 6 kids devoted to you, ready to sacrifice themselves. Like in Spartacus.
Absolutely. Like in Spartacus.
Who's heard of Spartacus these days?
Oh, they use a different model. Spider-Man.
Anyway, clearly you know a lot more about it than we do. Ferdinand obviously has been a lot less silent than you would have us believe. Does anyone know why Bruno called him a grass? No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Stupid question. Firstly, it's beside the point. And secondly, I couldn't care less.
We can't get involved in children's quarrels.
No, and it's none of our business.
No.
On the other hand, what is our business is what unfortunately happened. Violence is always our business.
You know, when I was leader of my gang, when I was 12, I fought Didier Legleux, who was bigger than me, in single combat.
What are you going on about, Michelle? What's that got to do with anything?
No, it's got nothing to do with anything, no.
The boys weren't fighting. We're not talking single combat.
I know. I just suddenly had a memory.
There's not that big a difference.
Excuse me. Yes, there is. There's a very big difference.
There's a very big difference, yeah.
What?
Well, with Didier Leclerc, we'd agreed to have a fight.
Did you beat the shit out of him?
Up to a point, yeah.
Enough about Didier Leclerc. Would you mind if I spoke to Ferdinand?
By all means.
I wouldn't want to do it without your permission.
No, to speak to him. What could be more natural?
Good luck.
I don't understand you.
Madame thinks.
Veronique, I think we'll get on a lot better if we stop calling each other Madame and Monsieur.
Veronique, you're motivated by an educational impulse, which is very commendable.
If you don't want me to speak to him, I won't speak to him.
No, speak to him. Read him the right act. Do what you like.
I don't understand why you don't seem to care about this.
Madame, Veronique. Of course I care, Veronique, enormously. My son has injured another child.
On purpose.
You see, that's the kind of remark that gets my back up. Obviously, on purpose.
That makes all the difference.
The difference between what and what? That's what we're talking about. Our son picked up a stick and hit your son. That's why we're all here, isn't it?
Listen, we're on a slippery slope here. My husband is desperate about all sorts of other things. I will bring Ferdinand by this evening and we can let things sort themselves out naturally.
I'm not in the least desperate.
Well, I am.
There's nothing to be desperate about.
Yes, there is.
Don't make any statements. No comments. No, of course you mustn't take it off the market. You take it off the market, you become responsible. The moment you take actual off the market, you're admitting liability. There's nothing in the annual accounts. If you want to be sued for falsifying the executive report and give them a sack in 2 weeks, then take it off the market.
Last year, in Open Day, didn't Ferdinand play Monsieur de
Pourceaugnac?
Monsieur de Pourceaugnac?
We'll think about the victims later, Maurice. Let's just see what the shares do at the AGM.
He was extraordinary.
Yes.
We are not going to take a medicine off the market just because 2 or 3 people are bumping into the furniture.
I remember him very clearly as Monsieur de Pourceaugnac. Do you remember him, Michelle?
Yes.
Don't make any statement for the time being.
He was hilarious when he was in drag.
Yes.
Yes, I'll call you back. Serge, they're panicking, they've got the media up their arse. You're going to have to prepare a press release. Nothing defensive, not at all. On the contrary, you come out all guns blazing. We insist Ferenc Farmer is the victim of a destabilisation attempt 2 weeks before its annual general meeting. Where does this paper come from? Why should it have fallen out of the sky just now, etc., and so on? Don't say anything about health problems, just ask one question. Who's behind this report? Right.
Terrible, these pharmaceutical companies. Profit. They don't even...
You're not supposed to be listening to my conversation.
I'm obliged to have it in front of me.
Yes, I am. I'm absolutely obliged to have it here. Not my choice, I can assure you.
They just dump any old crap on you. They don't give it a second thought, and they...
In the therapeutic field, every advance brings with it risk as well as benefit.
Yes, I understand that. It's all the same. It's a funny job you've got, isn't it?
Meaning?
Michelle, this has got nothing to do with us.
Funny job. It's a funny job.
What was it you do?
I have an ordinary job.
And what is an ordinary job?
I told you. I sell saucepans,
And doorknobs!
toilet fittings, and lots of other things.
Ah, toilet fittings. Now you're talking. I'm really interested in toilet fittings. No, that's interesting. I want to know more about toilet fittings. How many types are there?
2 different systems. push button, and overhead flush.
I see.
Depending on the feed.
Well, yeah.
Either the water comes down from above or up from under.
Yeah.
If you're really interested, I could introduce you to a warehouseman who specialises in this kind of thing. You'd have to leg it down to St. Denis Le Plan.
You certainly seem to be on top of the subject.
Are you intending to punish Ferdinand in any way? You can carry this plumbing discussion on in some more appropriate setting.
I'm not feeling well.
Oh, what's the matter?
Yes, you're very pale, sweetheart.
Palish, certainly.
I feel sick.
Oh, I have some Moxilon.
Yes.
No, it'll be fine.
No, what else is good? Coke. Coke's
No, I'll be all right.
Walk around a bit and take a few steps.
Oh, are you sure?
Yes, small sips, small sips.
Thank you.
Give me slurge, will you, please? Well, I'll ask him to call me back. Ask him to call me back right away. It's good, is it, Coca-Cola? I thought it was just supposed to be for diarrhea.
No, not only that. All right.
Yes, all right. Veronique, if we want to reprimand our son, we'll do it in our own way and without having to account to anyone.
Absolutely.
What do you mean, absolutely, Michelle?
Well, they can do whatever they like with their son. It's their prerogative.
I don't think so.
What do you mean you don't think so,
I
Ronnie?
don't think it is their prerogative.
Really? Please explain. Sorry. Excellent! But don't forget, nothing's definite, nothing's been proved. Get this straight, if anyone fucks up, Maurice is a dead man in 2 weeks and us with him.
That's enough, Alan! That's enough with the mobile! Will you pay attention to what's happening here? Shit!
Yes. Call me back and read it to me. What's the matter with you? You gone mad shouting like that? Serge heard everything.
God, it drives me mad, that mobile, endlessly.
Listen, Annette, I'm already doing you a big favour being here in the first place.
I'm going to throw up.
No, you're not. You're not going to throw up.
Yes, I am!
Do you want to go to the lavatory?
Nobody's forcing you to stay.
Yes, nobody's forcing him to stay, are they?
I feel dizzy.
Stare at a fixed point. Stare at a fixed point.
What?
She would be better off in the lavatory, I think.
Yes, go to the lavatory. Go to the lavatory if you want to throw.
Give us some Moxilon.
According to my husband, everything to do with the house, the school, the garden, it's all my responsibility.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is, and I understand why. It's deathly, all that. It's deathly.
Oh, if it's all so deathly, why have children in the first place?
Maybe Ferdinand senses your lack of interest.
What lack of interest?
Well, I mean, you were just saying...
You should have gone to the lavatory, Wolf. This is ridiculous.
Go and fetch a bowl! Go and fetch a bowl!
Oh,
Your suit's definitely copped it.
Not a cafe. Oh my God! Gosh!
Give us some Moxilon!
Oh, she can't you let me
Where's your bath?
I'll show you.
Oh,
Oh my goodness!
It's nerves. You know, it's a panic attack. You know, you're a mum, Annette, whether you want to be or not. You know, I understand why you feel desperate. You know, I always say you can't control the things that control you. See, with me, it's the cervical vertebrae. The vertebrae just seize up, and then it's.
Jeez! What are we going to do about the kokoschka?
Could spray it with Mr. Clean. The problem is how to dry it. We could sponge it down a bit and then put a bit of perfume on it. Use my churros. I never wear it.
It'll warm.
No. Go over it with a hairdryer and then flatten it out under a pile of other books. Or we could iron it. You know, like they do with banknotes.
Oh my God!
I'll buy you another one.
They went out of print years ago. You can't.
I'm terribly sorry.
Go and get a hairdryer and the churros.
My husband's in there.
Well, he's not stark naked, is he? Oh, God. Right, that's the worst of it. Oh, the people of the tundra needs a bit of a wipe. Right. I'll be back. Oh, God. Oh.
Are you feeling better?
Yes.
Shall I spray?
Where's the hairdryer?
He's bringing it with him when he comes out.
Wait for him. We'll put the chorus on last thing.
Can I use the bathroom as well?
Oh, yes, of course.
Oh, God.
I can't tell you how sorry I am.
Books.
What a nightmare. This is horrible.
I tell you, if he pushes me much further, I'll go fucking...
she's dreadful as well.
Not as bad.
She's a phony.
Less irritating, though.
They're both dreadful. Why do you keep siding
I
with them?
don't keep siding with them. What are you talking about?
Do you keep vacillating, trying to play both ends off against the middle?
Not at all.
Yes, you do.
Oh,
You keep banging on about your triumphs as a gang leader, telling them they're free to do whatever they like about their son, even when their son's a public menace. When your son's a menace, it's everybody's concern. I can't believe she puked all over my books.
Put some on the people of a tundra.
Oh. This is disgusting. If you're about to spew, you go to the correct place.
And the Vegeta.
This is disgusting.
Oh. I was pushing it a bit with the shithouse systems.
Oh, you were brilliant.
Good answers, don't you think?
The warehouse one was brilliant.
What an asshole! What does he call her?
Woof woof.
Woof woof!
Yep.
Imagine that!
Woof
Woof woof! Woof woof!
Woof woof.
Woof woof! Woof woof! Woof woof!
Sick, woof
Woof woof! Sick everywhere! Woof woof! Woof woof! Woof woof!
That's right, I call her Woof Woof.
Oh, I am so sorry. I didn't mean to be rude. It's so easy to make fun of other people's nicknames, isn't it? What do we call each other? Michelle? Must be far worse than that,
Were
mustn't
you
it?
wanting the hairdryer?
Thank you.
Thank you.
We call each other Darjeeling. Like a tea. Far ridiculous if you ask me.
Yes.
Smooth it out. Smooth it out.
Right.
Smooth it.
How is the poor thing feeling? Better?
Better.
Listen, the way I behaved, it was really bad of me. I am ashamed of myself.
Not at all.
No, I completely steamrolled her about my catalogue. I can't believe I did that.
Turn the page.
Right.
Stretch it out. Stretch it out. Properly.
You're going to tear it.
He's right. He's right. That's enough. It's dry. That's enough. Objects can become so important. Sometimes you can't even remember why.
Oh. I know.
It's good.
There we are. It's as good as new. Where does Woof Woof come from?
How much is that doggy in the window?
I know the one. The one with the waggly tail.
Woof Woof.
Ours comes from our honeymoon in India. It's idiotic, really, but you know.
Shouldn't I go and find out how she is?
Yes, off you go. Darjeeling. Yes, we could.
Yes, shall I? Oh, Annette. Oh, I've been worried about you. How are you feeling?
Yes, I think so.
If you're not sure, stay away from the coffee table.
I left the towel in the bathtub. I wasn't sure where to put it.
Perfect.
Oh, you've cleaned it all up. I'm so sorry.
Everything's great. Everything's in order. It's fine.
Annette, you must forgive me. I've hardly taken any notice of you at all. I've been so obsessed with my kokoschka.
Oh, not at all. Don't worry.
No. The way I behaved, that was really very bad of me.
No. Something occurred to me while I was in the bathroom.
Yes.
Perhaps we're skating too hastily over.
Say it, Annette. Say it.
Well, an insult is also a kind of assault.
Of course it is.
That depends, Michelle.
Yes, it depends.
Well, Ferdinand's never shown any signs of violence. He would have had a reason to do that.
He got called a graph. Sorry. Yes. As long as there aren't any statements from victims. We don't want victims. I don't want you being quoted alongside victims. No comment, and if necessary, attack the newspaper. Oh, they'll fax you a draft of the press release, Maurice. Someone called me a grass. I'm liable to get annoyed.
Unless it's true.
What'd you say?
I mean, suppose it's justified.
My son is a grass.
Of course not. I was only joking, but...
Well, yours is as well, if that's to be the way of it.
What do you mean ours is as well?
Well, he did give you the name.
Because we insisted.
Michelle, this has got nothing to do with it.
Whether you insisted or not, he gave you the name.
Annette!
Annette, what? You think my son is a grass?
I don't think anything.
Well, if you don't think anything, don't say anything. Stop making these insinuations.
Let's stay calm, shall we, Annette? Michelle and I are doing our best to remain reasonable and moderate.
Not that moderate.
Really? What do you mean by that?
Moderate on the surface.
I really have to go, Wolford.
Oh, right, go then. Be a coward.
Annette, right now I'm risking my most important client. So this responsible parent routine...
My son has lost 2 teeth, 2 incisors.
Yes, I think we all got that.
One of them for good.
Oh, and have new ones. We'll give him new ones, better ones. It's not as if he's bursting in.
We're making a mistake not to take into account the origin of the problem.
Origin? There's no origin. It's one 11-year-old child hitting someone else. With a stick.
Armed with a stick.
We withdrew that word.
You withdrew it because we objected to it.
We withdrew it without any protest.
A word deliberately designed to rule out error or clumsiness, to rule out childhood.
I don't think I can take much more of this tone of voice.
Well, you and I have had trouble seeing eye to eye right from the start.
There is nothing more detestable than to be attacked for something that you yourself consider a mistake. The word armed was inappropriate. We changed it. Although if you stick to the strict definition of the word, its use is not entirely inaccurate.
Ferdinand was insulted and he reacted. If I'm attacked, I defend myself. Especially if I find myself alone and confronted by a gang.
Puking seems to have perked you up.
Are you aware of how crude that sounds?
Look, we're people of goodwill. All 4 of us, I'm sure. You know, why let these minor aggravations, these little irritations, push us over the edge?
That's enough, Michelle. Let's stop beating around the bush, shall we? If all we are is moderate on the surface, then let's forget the whole thing.
No, I refuse to allow myself to slide down that slope and...
What slope?
The deplorable slope those 2 little bastards have perched us on. There. I've said it.
I'm not sure Ronnie has quite the same outlook.
Ronnie!
Sorry!
He's a little bastard now, is he? That's the last straw, poor child.
Right, I really do have to leave.
Me too.
Oh, go on, go. I give up.
Oh, who's that? Hello? Mum, yes. No. No, we are with some friends, but you tell me all about it, yeah. Yep. Yeah, do whatever the doctor wants you to do, Mum. Yeah. They've given you Antril. Wait a minute. Mum, wait a minute, don't go away. Antriel's your crap, isn't it? My mum's taking it.
Thousands of people take it.
You stop taking that stuff right away, Mum. Do you hear what I'm saying? Immediately. No. Look, I'll explain later. Yeah. Tell Dr. Prollo I'm forbidding you to take it. Yeah. Why luminous? So you can be seen. Oh, Mum, that's completely ridiculous. No, I know. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. You too. Okay. Bye. She's hired luminous crutches so she doesn't get knocked down by a truck. As if someone in her condition would be walking down the motorway in the middle of the night. They've given her Antriel for her blood pressure.
Well, if she takes it and stays normal, I'll have her called as a witness.
I do not appreciate your cynicism. If my mother displays the most minor of symptoms, I'll be initiating a class action.
Oh, that'll happen anyway.
So I should hope.
Goodbye, madame.
Oh, good manners gets you nowhere. Courtesy is a waste of time. It undermines you and weakens you.
Right, come on, Annette, let's go. Enough preaching and sermons for today.
Go on, go. But let me just say one thing. Having met you two, it seems pretty clear that for, what's his name, Ferdinand, but there are mitigating circumstances.
When you murdered that hamster!
Murdered?
Yes!
I murdered the hamster.
Yes, you've done your best to make us feel guilty, but your virtue went straight out of the window when you decided to be a killer.
I absolutely did not murder that hamster.
Worse, you left it shivering with terror in a hostile environment. That poor hamster is bound to have been eaten by a dog or a rat.
Well, it's true. That is true.
What do you mean it's true?
Well, it's true. What do you expect me to say?
I thought it'd be...
Appalling what must have happened to that creature.
I thought it would be happy to be liberated. I thought it would run off down the gutter jumping for joy.
Well, it didn't.
And you abandoned it.
Oh, you know I can't stand these things. For fuck's sake, Veronique. You know I am completely incapable of touching that entire species.
Yes, he does have a phobia about rodents.
That's right. I'm frightened of rodents. I'm terrified of snakes. Anything close to the ground I have absolutely no rapport with.
And you? Why didn't you go out and look for it?
I didn't know what happened until the following day. Michelle didn't tell us, me and the children, that the hamster escaped until the following morning. I went out immediately. I walked round the block. I even went down to the cellar.
You know, I find it intolerable to be in the dock for this hamster saga that you've seen fit to reveal. It is a personal matter which is no one else's business but ours, and has nothing to do with the present situation. And I find it incomprehensible to be called a killer in my own home.
Oh, what's your own home got to do with it?
My home! My home, the doors of which I've opened in a spirit of reconciliation to people who ought to be grateful to me for it.
It's wonderful the way you keep patting yourself on the back.
Don't you feel any guilt?
None whatsoever. You know, I've always thought it was a repulsive little creature. I'm ecstatic that it's gone. Yeah.
Michelle, that is ridiculous.
Oh, is it ridiculous? Have you gone crazy as well? Their son bashes up Bruno and I get shat on because of a hamster.
It's appalling what must have happened to that creature. You behaved very badly. You can't deny it.
Fuck the hamster!
You won't be able to say that to your daughter this evening, will you?
Bring her on. I'm not going to let myself be told how to behave by some 9-year-old bruiser.
100% behind you there.
Oh, pathetic.
You be careful, Veronique. You be careful. I've been extremely restrained up to now, but I'm about 2 inches away from crossing that line.
And what about Bruno?
Oh, what about Bruno?
Isn't he upset?
If you ask me, Bruno has other problems.
Bruno was less attached to Nibbles.
Grotesque name as well.
If you feel no guilt, why do you expect our son to feel any?
I've had it up to here with these idiotic little discussions. We tried to be nice. We've bought flowers. My wife's passed me off as a lefty. The truth is, I can't keep this up anymore. I'm fundamentally uncouth.
Aren't we all?
No! No, I'm sorry, we are not all fundamentally uncouth.
Well, not you, obviously.
No, not me, thank the Lord.
No, not you, Darjeeling, not you. You're a fully evolved woman. You're skid resistant.
Why are you attacking me?
I'm not attacking you, quite the opposite.
Yes, you are. You're attacking me. You know you are.
I know, well, you organised this little get together. I don't let myself be recruited.
You let yourself be recruited?
Huh.
That is detestable.
Not at all. But you stand up for civilization. That's completely to your credit.
Exactly! I stand up for civilization. Lucky there are still people prepared to do that. You think being fundamentally uncouth's a better idea?
Come on now, come on.
No, you think it's normal to be criticised for not being fundamentally uncouth?
No one's saying that. No one's criticising
Yes,
you.
they are!
No, they're not.
What are we supposed to do? Sue you? Not talk to one another? Try to slaughter you with insurance claims?
Stop it, Ronnie.
Stop what?
You've got things out of proportion.
I don't give a shit. You force yourself to rise above petty-mindedness and you end up humiliated and completely on your own.
Let them prove it.
Oh,
Prove it. But if you ask me, best not to answer at all.
we're always on our own.
Oh.
Everywhere. Who'd like some rum?
There is some in the office. I'll call you back later.
There you have it. I'm living with someone who is totally negative.
Who's negative?
I am.
This was a disaster. We should never have arranged this meeting.
I told you.
You told me.
Yeah.
You told me not to arrange this meeting.
Didn't think it was a good idea.
It was a good idea.
Oh, please. Anybody?
You told me you didn't think it was a good idea.
I think so.
You think so?
Wouldn't mind a little drop.
Thought you had to go.
Well, I could manage a small glass. Now we got this far.
You look me in the eye and tell me we weren't in complete agreement about this.
Don't get worked out, Veronique. It's pointless.
What about the Clafou tea? Who said nobody touched the Clafou tea this morning? Let's leave the Clafou tea for the hay. Who said that?
Oh, that was nice.
What's that got to do with it?
What do you mean? What's that got to do with it?
When you invite people, you invite people.
You're a liar! He's a liar!
You know, speaking personally, my wife had to drag me here. When you're brought up with a kind of John Wayne-ish idea of virility, the last thing you want to do is try and solve this sort of problem with a lot of yakking.
I thought your model was Spartacus.
Same family.
It's analogous.
Oh, analogous. Michelle, are there no lengths you won't go to humiliate yourself?
Obviously, it was pointless dragging you here.
Well, what were you hoping for, Woof Woof?
It's true, it's a ridiculous nickname.
Were you hoping for a glimpse of universal harmony? This rum is terrific.
It is, isn't it? Cœur de Chef. 15 years old. Direct from Santa Rosa.
What about the flowers? I said it's a shame the flowers are finished. I didn't say let's march on down to Mouton Devonay Market at the crack of dawn.
Don't get yourself worked up like this, Veronique is crazy.
The flowers were his idea. Entirely his idea. Don't we get a drink?
Yes, Veronique and I would like one too. By the way, I think it's quite amusing that someone descended from Spartacus and John Wayne can't even pick up a mouse.
Just shut up about that hamster! Shut up!
You're right, it's laughable.
What about her?
I don't think she needs any.
Michelle, give me a drink.
No.
Michelle,
No!
give me a drink!
Michelle,
Give me a
what's the
drink!
matter
Give
with
me a
you?
drink now! Give me a drink!
No! Ah! Go on then! Take it! Drink, drink. Who cares?
Is alcohol bad for you?
It's wonderful.
Yes, well, I don't know.
Listen, monsieur.
Alain?
Listen, Alain. You and I haven't exactly been soulmates, but you see, I live with a man who has decided once and for all that life is second rate. It's very difficult living with a man who comforts himself with that thought, who doesn't want anything to change, who can't work up any enthusiasm about anything.
He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't give a fuck about any of that.
You have to believe Well, you have to believe in the possibility of improvement, don't you?
He's the last person who should be telling any of this.
I'll talk to who I like, for fuck's sake.
Who the fuck's this man on?
Hello?
Yes, Mum.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, he's in pain. He's lost 2 teeth, but he's fine. Yes, he's in pain. No, he's in pain, Mum, but he'll pass. Yeah. I know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You too. Okay. Bye.
He's still in pain?
No.
Well, then why worry your mother?
He can't help himself. He has to worry her.
Right, that is enough, Veronique. What is this psychodrama?
Veronique, do any of us really care about anything but ourselves? Of course we'd all like to believe in the possibility of improvement, of which we could be the architects and would be in no way self-serving. Does such a thing exist? Some people drag their feet, it's their strategy. Others refuse to accept the passing of time and drive themselves demented. What difference does it make? Huh? People struggle until they're dead. Education. The miseries of the world. You'll write a book on Darfur, aren't you? Fine. I can understand you thinking to yourself, I'm going to choose a massacre. What else does history consist of? And I'm going to write about it. You do what you can to save yourself.
I'm not writing it to save myself. You haven't read it. You don't know what it's about.
It makes no difference.
Ugh, terrible stink of chorus.
It's ghastly.
You certainly laid it on.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it wasn't you. It wasn't your fault. I was the one spraying like a lunatic. Look, can't we just take everything a bit more lightly? Why does everything have to be so exhausting?
You think too much. Women think too much.
Now there's an original remark. Bet that's thrown you for a loop.
Think too much. I don't even know what that means. And I don't think there's any point to existence without some moral conception of the world.
Oh. Do you see what I have to live with?
Shut up! Shut up! I detest this pathetic complicity. You disgust me.
Come on, a sense of humour.
I don't have a sense of humour and I have no intention of acquiring one.
I always say marriage is the worst ordeal that God can inflict on you.
Great.
Marriage and children.
There's no call for you to share your views with us, Michelle. As a matter of fact, I find that slightly indecent.
That's not going to stop him.
You mean you don't agree?
These observations are irrelevant. Allah, say something.
He's entitled to his opinion.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to broadcast them.
Well, yes, perhaps.
We don't give a damn about their marriage. We're here to sort out a problem to do with our children. We don't give a damn about their marriage.
Yes, but
But what? What do you mean?
there's a connection.
There's a connection. Of course there's a connection.
There's a connection between Bruno getting his face bashed in and the state of our marriage.
Obviously.
We're not with you.
You know, children, they consume and they fracture our lives. Children drag us towards disaster. It's unavoidable. You know, when you see those laughing couples casting off into the sea of matrimony, you think to yourself, they have no idea, poor things. They just have no idea. They're happy. But no one tells you anything when you start out. I have an old school pal who's just about to have a child with his new girlfriend. I said to him, a child at our age? Are you insane? 10 or a dozen good years left to us before we get cancer or a stroke. You're about to bugger it up with some brat.
You don't really believe what you're saying.
He does. He does.
Of course I believe it.
You're demeaning yourself, Michelle.
Is that right?
Stop crying, Veronique. You can see it only encourages him.
Help yourself, help yourself. It's exceptional, isn't it?
Exceptional. Could I offer you a cigar?
No. No cigars.
Pity.
You're not proposing to smoke a cigar, Alain.
I shall do what I want to do. If I feel like accepting a cigar, I shall accept a cigar. The only reason I'm not smoking is I don't want to upset Veronique, who's already completely lost it. She's right, stop snivelling. When a woman cries, a man is immediately provoked to the worst excesses. Added to which, Michelle's point of view is, I'm sorry to say, entirely sound. Yes, search. Put Paris and the date, the exact time.
This is hideous.
Whatever the time is when you send it, it has to look piping hot straight out of the oven.
This goes on from morning till night.
No, not we're surprised, we condemn. Surprised is feeble.
Morning till night, he's glued to that mobile. That mobile makes mincemeat of our lives.
Just a minute, Annette, this is very important.
It's always very important. Anything somewhere else is always more important.
Yes, go on. No, not procedure, manoeuvre. A manoeuvre timed for 2 weeks before the
at
annual
dinner,
accounts.
he doesn't care where.
A paper in inverted commas. Put the word paper
I'm not saying another
in
word.
inverted commas.
Total surrender. I want to be sick again.
Where's the basin?
I don't know.
Oh, you just have to quote me. This is simply a disgraceful attempt to manipulate share prices.
Oh, there it is. Go on, off you go.
Ronnie!
Share prices and to undermine my client confirms Maitre counsel for the Varennes Pharma Company. AP, Reuters, General Press, Specialised Press, Uncle Tom Cobley it all.
She wants to throw up again.
What's the matter with you?
You don't worry about me.
It's upsetting me.
Everything's fine.
Annette, please don't let us start any. Just because they're quarrelling, just because their marriage is fucked, doesn't mean we have to compete.
Because our marriage is fucked. Who gave you permission?
Yes. They just read it to me, Maurice. They're sending it to you. Manipulate share prices. It's on its way. It wasn't me who said it, it was Francois.
Michelle!
Fine.
I forbid you to stand in any kind of judgment over our relationship.
They don't stand in judgment over my son.
That's completely different. Your son attacks ours.
Oh, they're young, they're kids. Kids have always given each other a good drubbing during break. It's a rule of life.
No, it isn't.
Of course it is. They have to go through a kind of apprenticeship before violence gives way to what's right. Originally, may I remind you, might was right.
Oh, possibly in prehistoric times, but not today, not in our society.
Our society? Explain society.
You're exhausting me. These conversations are exhausting.
You see, Veronique, I believe in the god of Carnage. He has ruled uninterruptedly since the dawn of time. You're interested in Africa, aren't you? Oh, you're all right.
Don't mind me.
I'm worried.
Never mind.
As a matter of fact, I just came back from the Congo. Yeah? Over there, little boys are taught to kill when they're 8 years old. Throughout their childhood, they may have killed hundreds of people with a machete or a 12.7 or a Kalashnikov or a grenade launcher. So you'll understand that when my son picks up a rod of bamboo, hits his playmate and breaks a tooth or even two in Aspirant-Dunan Gardens, I'm liable to be less disposed than you to horror and indignation.
You're wrong.
12.7?
Yes, that's what they're called.
What?
Are you all right?
Perfectly.
What's the matter with her? What's the matter with you?
It's just bile, it's nothing.
Don't lecture me about Africa. I know all about Africa's martyrdom. I've been steeped in it for months.
I don't doubt it. Anyway, the prosecutor of the International Criminal Court held an inquiry on Darfur.
You think I don't know about that?
Don't get us started on that, for God's sake.
Oh, I just about had enough of you!
Fucking lunatic!
I'm starting to like you.
I don't like you!
Oh. Jesus. Of course, she's a supporter of peace and stability in the world. You sure about that?
It'll do me good.
We're living in France. We're not living in Kinshasa. We're living in France according to the principles of Western society. What happens in Escalating Gardens reflects the views of Western society, of which I, for one, if it's all the same to you, am happy to be a member.
And beating up your husband's one of those principles, is it?
Michelle, this is going to end badly.
She threw herself on you in such a frenzy, you know. If I were you, I'd be quite touched.
I'll do it again in a minute.
He's just making fun of you. You do realise.
I don't give a shit.
I'm not making fun, on the contrary. Morality decrees we should control our impulses, but sometimes, yeah, it's best not to control them. You don't want to be singing Ave Maria when you're having a shag. Where can you find this rug?
That vintage? I doubt you can.
12.7.
Yes, 12.7.
Yes, that's what they're called.
Why can't you just say gun?
Because 12.7 is correct. You don't just say gun.
Who's this you?
Oh, that's enough of that, that's enough.
The great warriors like my husband, you have to give them some leeway. They have difficulty working up an enthusiasm for local events.
It's true.
Oh, I don't see why. I don't see why. We're all citizens of the world. Why should we give up the struggle just because it's on our doorstep?
Oh, do stop shoving these thoughts for the day down our throats.
I'm going to kill him.
Oh, for bloody...
Yeah. All right, take out regrettable. Crude. A crude attack to him.
She's right. This is becoming irritating.
Otherwise, he approves the rest. Fine. Fine. Very good. What were we saying? 12.7 millimetre?
Oh, we were saying, whether my husband likes it or not, that there is no one place more important than another when it comes to exercising vigilance.
Vigilance? Well, Annette! It's ridiculous. I keep drinking the state you're in.
What state? On the contrary.
Vigilance? Well, it's an interesting idea. Yes. No interviews until the circulation of the press release.
I must insist you break off this horrendous conversation.
Absolutely not. The shareholders won't give a fuck. Remind him, the shareholder is king.
Right!
Ready? Oh my God! Are you insane? Fuck!
The hairdryer! Where's the hairdryer?
Are you not so nice? I had everything on there.
That was completely irresponsible.
Everything's on there my whole life.
Hang on, we might be able to fix it.
No, chances. But
We'll take the battery out, take the SIM card out, and then we'll... You open it.
I've got a clue. I just got it.
Let's have a look.
But and they think it's funny. They think it's funny.
There we are. You, Robbie. You could at least have the manners not to laugh.
My husband would spend the entire afternoon blow
Leave it, mate. Leave it. There's nothing to be done.
just have to wait a few minutes. Do you want to use our phone? You know, I really have to say.
Yes, Michelle, what do you have to say?
No, I can't think what to say.
Well, if you ask me, everyone's feeling fine. If you ask me, everyone's feeling much better. Everyone's much calmer now, don't you think? Men are so wedded to their gadgets, it belittles them, it takes away all their authority. Man needs to keep his hands free, if you ask me. Even an attaché case is enough to put me off. There was a man once who I found really attractive. And then I saw him with a square shoulder bag. I mean, it was a man's shoulder bag, but that was it. Man needs to be able to give the impression that he's alone now, if you ask me. I mean, that he's capable of being alone. I, too, have a John Wayne-ish idea of virility. And what was it he had? A Colt 45. A device for creating a vacuum. Man who can't give the impression that he's a loner has no texture. So, Michelle, are you happy? It is somewhat fractured, this little, what was it you said? I can't remember the word, but in the end, everyone's feeling more or less all right, if you ask me.
Probably warn you, rub drives you crazy.
No, I've never felt more normal.
Right.
I'm starting to feel rather pleasantly serene.
That's wonderful. Rather pleasantly serene.
As for you, Darjeeling, I fail to see what's to be gained by getting publicly pissed.
Get stuffed.
Choose one, Alan. Relax.
Cigars are not to be smoked in this house.
Those are Monte Cristo, those are Hoyo. 3 and 4. This one.
You do not smoke in a house with an asthmatic child.
Oh, who's asthmatic?
Our son.
Didn't stop you buying a fucking hamster.
It's true. If someone has asthma, keeping animals is not recommended.
Totally unrecommended.
Well, even a goldfish can prove counterproductive.
I have to listen to this fatuous nonsense. Sorry, I guess I'm the only one of us who's not feeling rather pleasantly serene. In fact, I don't think I've ever been so unhappy. This is the unhappiest day of my life.
Oh, drinking always makes you unhappy.
Michelle, everything that comes out of your mouth is destroying me. I don't drink. I've had a mouthful of this shitty rum that you've been waving about as if you're showing the congregation the Turin Shroud. I don't drink and I bitterly regret it. It would be a relief to take a few drops at every minor setback.
My husband's unhappy too. Look at him. Slumped. He looks as if someone left him at the side of the road. I think it's the unhappiest day of his life as well.
Yes!
I'm so sorry, Woof Woof.
Turn off the
hairdryer, it's fucked.
Hello? Because it could kill you! That medication is poison, Mum.
Oh, right, okay. Someone's going to explain it to you.
Okay.
Tell her.
Tell her what?
Everything you know about that crap you're peddling.
And how are you, Madame?
What can he tell her? He doesn't know a right thing about it.
Oh, yes, of course. Does it hurt? Oh, don't worry, the operation will sort that out. And the other leg too, I see. Oh. No, I'm not an orthopaedist. She keeps calling me doctor.
Doctor, this is grotesque. Hang on.
But you're not experiencing any problems with your balance? Yes. No, not at all, not at all. Don't listen to any of that. Still, I suppose that for the time being, I think it'd be just as well if you stopped taking it. Yeah, just until you're quietly through your operation. Yes, you sound on very good form.
Right, Mum, is that clear? Stop taking the medication. Oh, why do you always have to argue? Stop taking it. Do as you're told. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes, you too. Yeah. Okay. Lots of love. Love from us all. Bye. She's killing me. One pain in the arse after another.
Right. So, what have we decided? Am I bringing Ferdinand back here at 7:30? No one seems to give a toss anymore, but I should point out that that's what we were here for.
Oh, I'm starting to feel sick now.
That'll do.
I think there are wrongs on both sides. That's it. Wrongs on both sides.
Are you serious?
What?
Are you aware of what you're saying?
I am, yes.
My son, to whom I was obliged to give 2 extra-strength Nurofen last night, is in the wrong.
Well, he's not necessarily innocent.
What? Fuck off! Fuck off! Why don't you just fuck off? I've had quite enough of you!
Where all going?
She broke my atomizer and my compact.
It's not like I'm strangling her.
Oh, what have I ever done to you?
There are not wrongs on both sides. Don't get mixed up the victims and the executioners.
Executioner?
You are so full of shit. All this oversimplistic claptrap. We're up to here with it.
I stand by everything I've said.
Oh, yes, you stand by what you said. You stand by what you said. Your infatuation for a bunch of Sudanese coons is bleeding into everything now.
Why are you choosing to show yourself in this horrible light?
Oh, because I feel like it. I feel like showing myself in a horrible light.
One of these days, you're going to realise the extreme gravity of the situation in that part of the world, and you will be ashamed of your inertia and this repulsive nihilism.
You really are the best of us all, aren't you?
I am, yes!
Let's get out of here, Alan. These people are monsters.
No, stop it!
I don't want to drink some more. That bitch throws my handbag across the floor, and nobody bats an eyelid. I want to get drunk.
You already are. Come on.
Oh, you don't even call my son an executioner. You come here to try and sort things up, and you get lectured and bullied and told to be a good citizen of the planet. Well, I wipe my arse on your Charter of Human Rights.
A mouthful of grog and bam, the real face appears, doesn't it?
I told you, didn't I tell you?
What did you tell him?
That she was a phony. I'm sorry, this woman is a phony.
When did you tell him?
When you were in the bathroom.
You'd known her 15 minutes and already you could tell she was a phony?
Oh, it's the sort of thing I pick up on right away.
True. Phony? What's that mean?
She's someone who likes to round off corners. She's all front. She doesn't care any more than you do. It's true.
It's true.
It's true.
It's true! You're saying it's true!
They don't give a fuck. They haven't given a fuck from the start. It's obvious. Her too. You're right.
And you do, I suppose. Explain to me in what way you care, Michelle. What's the word even mean, huh? You're far more authentic when you present yourself in a horrible light. Tell the truth, no one in this room cares, apart from Veronique, whose integrity, it has to be said, must be acknowledged.
Don't acknowledge me! Don't acknowledge me!
I care. I absolutely care.
We only care about our own feelings, innit? We're not social crusaders. Saw your friend Jane Fonda on the TV the other night. I was that close from buying a National Front poster.
What do you mean, my friend? What's Jane Fonda got to do with any of
Yeah,
this?
you're same breed, aren't you? Part of the same category of woman. Committed, problem solving. That's not what we like about women. What we like about women is sensuality, wildness, hormones. Women who make a song and dance about their intuition. Women who are custodians of the world. Depress us. Even him, poor Michelle, your husband, he's depressed.
Don't speak for me.
Who gives a flying fuck what you think about women? This speech, where does it come from, hey, man like you? Who gives a flying fuck for what you think?
She's yelling, she's a regimental sergeant major.
So she doesn't yell? Like when she said that little bastard did right to clout our son?
What? He did do right. At least he's not a snivelling little pup.
What's the grass? Is that any better?
Let's get out of here, Alan. I've had enough. That's what I think of your clothes! Your hideous white chrysanthemum! This is the worst day of my life as well!
Is this yours?
Yes.
Not broken at all? You know, I always say that if... Leave it.
No.
Hello? Oh, yes. Hello, sweetheart. Oh, that's wonderful, yes. Yes, can you do your homework at Annabelle's? No, we haven't found her yet, darling. Well, I think you need to have more faith in her. Do you think she was happy in a cage? No, your father's very sad, darling. He didn't mean to upset you. Of course you will. Of course you'll speak to him again. Yes. We're very worried about your brother at the moment. Well, she'll be okay. She'll eat. Well, she'll eat leaves and acorns and conkers. And she knows what she needs. Well, worms, snails, stuff that drops out of rubbish bins. She's omnivorous, darling. She's like us. Yes, I'll see you soon, sweetheart.
I dare say that creature's stuffing its face as we speak.
No.
What do we know?